Good evening everyone, I am Mr. H. Thank you for joining me for this video. I have recently presented the algorithm for determining the maximum of an array by a request I'm doing now for the minimum of an array. The algorithm is very similar except things are flipped around. You can refer to that video for the gist of the algorithm, but here we're going through it pretty fast. We've set the domain of inputs 0 to 10 for the purpose of this video, but the domain could literally be anything. You want to set here the minimum as being the highest number, because when you do your loop comparisons, that highest number can trickle down to the true minimum value from your array, your list of numbers. As you do your loop comparisons, your high value which has been assigned that minimum will trickle its way down to the actual low value from that list that you have. Then the loop comparison is just basically a series of tests. You're comparing your number, your test value, with the minimum which is determined and or which will change as the procedures go through. If the number is less than the minimum will take this number value, so the minimum will make its way down to a smaller value. If the number and the minimum are compared and the number is larger than the minimum, then the minimum has no reason to change. It will stay the same value as from the previous step. Likewise, the same condition when the number and the minimum are equal to each other, there's no change. At the end of these loop comparisons, the output is generated, and that should be your actual true value from your list that you have. So this right here represents the algorithm. When you see it in play over here, it will actually be much more clear. We have here a list of numbers which can be represented as 7, then we have 8, we have 2, we have 3, and then 1, 6. Just by looking at this, you know the 1 is the smallest number, but we have to have the algorithm determine that for us. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. Therefore, the loop must occur 6 times. In the first step, you're going to do a comparison between 7 and the minimum. You know the minimum here has been established as being 10 because our domain was 0 to 10. We picked the highest number. The comparison is between your test value and the minimum value. Now you check to see if the 7 is less than the determined minimum value. It is. It's true. So your minimum will take this new value. It will become 7. Now in the next step, you're going here. You're testing 8 with your minimum value. Your minimum value now is 7. You do the comparison. Is 8 less than the minimum value 7? It's false. It isn't. Therefore, your minimum will stay the same. It does not change. It stays as 7. We come down to this number. The comparison is between 2 and the previously determined minimum value. Is 2 less than 7? It sure is. It's true. So therefore, the minimum will adopt this next value, and it will be 2. We come to the next item of the loop. We're comparing 3 now to our assigned minimum value, which has made its way down to 2. Is 3 less than 2? It isn't. 3 is larger. It's false. Therefore, the minimum will stay as 2. And then second last, we are comparing 1 and now 2. Is 1 less than 2? It sure is. It's a true. So the minimum will now change to this test value, and the minimum will become 1. Lastly, we're doing a comparison now between 6 and the minimum value. 6 and the assigned minimum value of 1. Is 6 less than 1? It isn't. It's a false. Therefore, your minimum will stay as is, which was 1. The output here should be a 1, and it will be right. You can remember these steps not to be too difficult. Start with your assignment of domain of inputs, what your program can handle. The minimum is assigned the highest value. When you're doing the algorithm for maximum, the maximum is assigned the lowest value. You assign minimum the highest value so it can trickle its way down towards the actual lowest value in the array or the listing that you have. You do the series of conditions by means of loop procedures until you arrive at your final output. And that brings us to the end of this algorithm. You can look at that previous video. I've gone into slightly more detail with that. This one is just breezing through the whole procedure for determining the minimum of the array. Thank you for watching.